Welcome to BFD Adventures. I'm Cody, and today we're talking tires. Play the intro.
Alright guys, so today we are going to be talking tires, and we have a whole range of bikes here through a whole range of adventure tires, and we're going to kind of describe what we like, what we don't like, and give our take on the different tires. Okay, so we're going to start with the most aggressive, which is the Motoz Desert HT, and then we're going to go all the way to the left there, the 50/50 Shinko 805 or the Trailmax Mission. They're both considered 50/50 tires. So Pogo, why don't you tell us what you think about the Desert HT?
Haven't had it on there a whole lot. Just put it on, try them out. But it's a 90/10 tire, so definitely more off-road, a little bit stiffer. Got more of an aggressive tread pattern to it, kind of scooped in the middle, more aggressive sidewall. The tire on the road, if you're looking for something roadworthy, not the tire for you. It'll do it, but it's not going to last. I'm hoping to get 3,000 miles out of the rear tire of this thing. We'll see what happens.
He doesn't
so
get
far,
3,000 miles out of any tire on this bike.
We'll see. I will say though, it does make you want to stay out of the throttle, because every time you rip into it, you feel like you're just ripping off money. So we'll see what happens. We'll give you an update here in about 1,000 miles, and we'll see what it looks like.
Okay, so what do you think about the traction so far? So today we rode in the mud. How would you compare it to, what was your last tire?
Well, what came off it was not a mud tire.
That is a fact.
It was a Trailmax Mission. Would not have done anything today in what we rode, slick, snotty mud. But this thing today, no lack of traction whatsoever. Anything you have, it'll go and do it until the tire gets packed up with mud, and then you just grab a handful of throttle, clean it out, and she's good to go again.
I think that's a good way to describe it. So, what do you think about the front tire?
Front tire, HTs? Same thing, does great. I put it on here, rode over. We took an hour to get here. Yeah. Knobs are still on the front tire. You can tell roadworthy. You know, the front end wants to get a little, I wouldn't say death wobble, but it's not smooth like a more streetable tire is. You got to watch that a little bit. As far as how it feels on the bike, turning in, bike feels heavy, like you're riding on knobs, which you are, but still very predictable, completely roadworthy. Just not gonna, get the road life out of it. But again, front tire felt great. Same thing. When you get packed with mud, just kind of get some speed up, throw it all out, and you're good to go again.
Cool. So I'll chime in on this. So this is my Africa Twin here, and this is the Motoz Tractionator Rallz tire. I went with that for the front and the back. I've heard from multiple people, and I follow Chris Birch a lot, and he's a fantastic rider. And one of the things he always says on his bikes that he likes to ride off-road is he doesn't care how quickly his front tire wears out. He wants that to stick no matter what, and if he's going to sacrifice anything, it'll be the rear tire, so that can slide around. But I decided to keep them both the rally tires. I wanted to take this off-road more. Comparing it to Pogo's tire, this Desert HT, this is an 80/20, this is 90/10, so you can imagine it's designed to be off-road 80% of the time and on-road 20% of the time. So anytime I've tried to clutch up a wheelie, again, it's like I leave a trail of money on the pavement every time I do it. So you want to stay out of the throttle on it. But that being said, on the mud today, this tire is incredible. It's stuck really well. The front is, again, the rally, and once it started gumming up with mud, it wanted to sidestep a little bit when we were going through muddy ruts and stuff like that. But I think you have that with any tire, so I can't knock it. Now, comparing it to, I'll jump in here and add this tire in. This is the tire that just came off my GS. That is a Motoz Tractionator Adventure tire. This is more like a 60/40-ish, kind of 70/30. It's a less aggressive tire than this. You can see how huge these lugs are spaced. I can fit 2 whole fingers in there. This I can barely fit 1 finger. That was way more of a roadworthy tire. It was quieter, but it definitely did not have the traction that this tire has. And so if you're comparing the Adventure to like the Rally to this, it really is like, you'll get more miles out of this one, more traction, less miles, more traction, less miles, as you guys know that. But that was a fantastic tire. It's got really aggressive sidewalls here. So when you were in corners in the dirt and stuff, it always seemed to really hook up well no matter which way you were, tilted on the bike, and it all went well. So, yeah. Cody, what do you think about stepping over?
Let's step on down to 50/50 land. Down here we've got a Shinko 805. The tire has been out forever. I would say everything that we've talked about so far is relatively new. That's why they're so hot and get so much attention. But then again, a lot of people circle back to something that they know because it's been around forever. 805, like I said, is a true 50/50, or as close as you can get to what that would be for you. Off-road, it's doable. It does hook up. Traction's really no problem. Today it was pretty muddy, and the front end stuck pretty good on this, but the back end did fishtail quite a bit, which made it fun, but it's not what everyone is looking for. A lot of people are looking for that planted, solid feeling. I would say traction on the road is great if you're on a twisty section of pavement. It's going to take a really, really good rider to outride these tires, especially when you talk about cost. I mean, we're talking about tires that retail for upwards of $200 for a rear tire. These are like $100, so you can keep running through these, put a ton of miles on your bike, and not be in it for as much, and they're going to last longer also. Typically, we're seeing about 5,000 miles out of a rear tire on one of these. Granted, it is on a much less powerful bike. Your mileage may vary, but generally, it's going to last a lot longer.
What do you have on the GS right now, Cody?
The GS, I ran a 804 front for a long time with a Mitas EO7 Plus on the rear.
Yep.
And that's what I've probably put 4 or 5 sets on in a row. It's a really good combo. I would say that's a little bit more because of the rear tire change, maybe a little more of a 60-40 bias towards the dirt. The rear tire probably does not hook up quite as well as this on the pavement, but the off-road traction is awesome. It will shoot a roost over a barn. No complaints there. So yeah, I keep coming back to them. I don't know what it is, but
yeah,
I just really like the
I'd like to comment on the EO7 as well. So
yeah.
I used to run it on my Super Tenere. I had one on, I don't know. At this point, I've gone through a bunch of them.
We've had one on this bike.
Yeah, we've had them on that.
The EO7 is an incredible 60-40 tire.
Yeah.
It's a great tire, and it wears well.
It does. I mean, you get good miles out of them. Yeah, for sure.
One thing I'll say comparing the two, the 805, what makes it great on the road is its big blocky pattern like that and lines makes it real easy to dive into corners and hold well. But off-road, like Cody kind of touched on it, if you're in muddy stuff or if you're going around a corner and you go to give it gas, it's gonna run away from you sideways. It slips out very quickly because you'll notice, like if you look at my tire here, the lugs are kind of offset from the center lug, or if you look at Motoz, see how offset they are, and that's so when you're really getting into thick, heavy stuff and you're sideways, it doesn't work as well. Whereas this, it just gives you room to run sideways. So it's something to keep in mind. And then lastly, getting over to the most road bias, that is the Dunlop Trailmax Mission. I just took that off of the Africa Twin. You can tell it's almost full tread because I wanted to get more aggressive off-road. I had the Trailmax Missions on my GS, and the GS it's just more road bias than the Africa Twin. So it felt good on there. My reviews on the Africa Twin, Pogo, I want to hear yours too. The moral of that story is they claim it's a 50-50 tire, and if you're riding in just dry, if you're not riding in sand and you're not riding in anything wet, yeah, it's a 50-50 tire. It'll take you anywhere off-road you want to go as long as it's dry and it's dirt. Outside of that, you gotta expect it to slip around a little bit. I was just ripping down a field road at like 30 miles an hour on the GS one day and tucked the front end just by hitting a little baby, like a little rut that was grass, and it was enough to wash the front end out and send me flying. So I will say that tire right there has like 3,000 miles on it, and it looks like it's barely worn.
I wouldn't have guessed that. I would have said like 1,000.
Yeah, yep. So that tire will last incredibly long. So if you're just doing just gravel and, you know, occasional fire roads or like, you know, ranger tracks through the woods or something like that, then yeah, that is plenty sufficient of a tire. But we're trying to like hop logs and do stupid stuff. So the Mission is not your tire if that's what you're trying to do. What is your thoughts?
My same thing. You know, wet stuff, didn't really care for it. I had it on this, just took it off actually to put these tires on. I had 2,200 miles on it, and I know because I just reset the trip every time I put a new set of tires on. 2,200 miles, and it started to get a little wear in the middle and start to flatten out, but then again, a lot more aggressive on the throttle and power with this bike as you're going to get with this bike. So there's that little thing. One thing that I noticed is one morning riding to work on this with the Trailmax Mission, doing about 60 miles an hour up the highway, just went to go change lanes, wasn't aggressive on the throttle or nothing, could have been a fluke, but road was wet, damp, sweating, whatever, you know, oils are coming out of the ground, and the back end broke traction at like 60 miles an hour, and I'm talking pretty sideways brake traction, so kind of made your asshole pucker a little bit, but you know, get your attention for sure at 6 o'clock in the morning. But that was kind of an unsettling feeling, but you're not going to take that tire and do what we did today with the slimy, snotty mud. There's just no way it's going to happen.
Yeah. So closing thoughts, this is what I'll say for the tires. Out of all of these here, I'll give you my 2 top ones and what conditions I would do them, and then you guys can do the same. So like for around here, I love this tire, and as long as I get 3,000 miles out of it, it is worth the money, and I will just keep replacing it with that. I value off-road traction more than anything else, and its road handling characteristics seem to be pretty darn good as well. So small stuff around here, if I'm only commuting or riding within 2 hours to go on an adventure, it's going to be the Tractionator Rally tire for sure. If we went on another trip to Colorado again and it was going to be in the dry season, honestly, it'd probably be the Trailmax Mission, because I know that it's going to last there. I'd still have tires whenever I got back. It's an incredible road tire. It really is an incredible road tire. And most of the time, if you're on rock or dry, like you'd be in the mountains of Colorado or out in Utah, that tire is way better than it looks. I mean, in my opinion, it looks like a street tire compared to these. So that's my opinion.
Even if it's wet or damp, gravel or off-road, you're fine with the Trailmax Mission. So don't let that deter you. But if you're riding and planning on being snotty, slimy stuff, it's not going to work. So I would have to agree with you. If we're going to do a long trip, I kept my Trailmax Missions that I took off this bike, and I'm actually going to put them on a spare set of wheels that I'm going to buy. That way, if I do take a trip to Colorado or whatever, and it's going to be dry or fairly dry, I'm probably going to use those and not take those, you know, 1,000 miles there and back just on the highway. Why would I wear these out when I can have those and still have all the traction I need to do what I have to do, riding, you know, fire roads, dirt roads, gravel roads, whatever, you know, 50-50 mixed pavement and off-road. Like Alex said, I like to ride more aggressive dirt off-road stuff, and here we are getting ready to come up to March Moto Madness. What, next 2 weeks?
2 weeks from today.
2 weeks from today, March Moto Madness. That's why I threw these on, because from what I see, it's going to be a lot of the SM500 kind of off-road. They have a little, I guess, off-road trail or whatever they're going to set up, obstacle course that I plan on running this through and maybe try their hill climb with it. But you know, it'll do just fine. We're actually going to haul down there because we're taking 3 bikes with us and only 2 riders. But I think if we were going to ride down, I would have left the Trailmax Missions on. So, like Alex touched earlier, you're going to sacrifice money for traction. This is a more aggressive rear tire, obviously $200 pop versus 805's what, $100 pop.
Yours makes no difference. $100,
You know,
yeah,
and
shipped to your door.
You're going to get a longer life out of that than you are this, but to me, I would rather have the traction of this over that. Just me personally. Some people might not agree with it, but that's my opinion.
That is probably the biggest angle of the tire talk, is what are you going to do with the bike? Are you going to ride it in the dirt 95% of the time, or are you going to ride it to work? Are you going to run errands around town? Are you going to ride it in the dirt once a year maybe? Are you going to take it on gravel? Ask yourself, really, because all that matters is what you do with the bike, and as long as you get enjoyment out of it, that's all that matters. All of it is just, we're out here to have fun.
One way to look at it is you're going to pay to play. So which way are you going to play? Are you going to play more off-road, or are you going to play more street-friendly?
I tend to fall more in the street-friendly realm because I like to put a lot of miles on bikes, and it's more of a waste of my time to constantly put tires on. I like to just have a bike that's set up, turnkey, and I'm gone. Then I don't have to think about, oh, in 2,000 miles, I'm going to put 3,000 on. I should probably put a new tire on, and then I'd end up with a stack of 50% tires that I would never use. So a lot of it is just looking at what you're going to do and make the best decision from there. There really is no wrong choice, really. They're all good in their own right.
Yeah, I think that sums it up. All right, guys, so if you have any comments, questions, anything, throw them in the comments below. Please like and subscribe to our channel. Check us out on Facebook. Go to www.bfeadventures.com. If you guys want to go on tours with us or do some of that fun stuff, maybe jump in on some trainings, go to our website, check us out there, and we'd be happy to see you out there. Anything else?
I think that's pretty much it.
All right, take care, guys.